So I have the very blessed role today of having the opportunity to introduce our guest facilitator, Brian Kimmel, BK, uh, who pronouns he, dia, they, is an author, mental health counselor, multicultural educator, and supervisor with years of experience in stress care and the expressive arts. Brian's unique, encouraging facilitation style helps participants weave together shared and interdependent experiences and narratives that foster a sense of deep purpose and individual and collective healing. They live in Seattle, lands of the Coast Salish, with their spouse and enjoy pulling weeds in the yard and planting in the garden. Um, and we're very, very happy to welcome BK back to the Earthholder Online Sangha space. This is not the first time that BK has facilitated on online Sangha, and just very grateful for a long-time Earthholder Dharma teacher in our tradition to be offering. I'll be sharing a link to BK's website, and without further ado, I'd like to offer you the space, BK. Simona bowing out.
Woo! Okay, we are on this adventure together. Thank you for allowing me to be here and the invitation to support your practice through facilitation today with moving through grief. I chose this topic because I don't know anybody who hasn't experienced grief. Grief for our planet, grief for our civilization, grief for people we may have lost in our lives, or feeling the presence of those we have found in our life. And so there's a lot that can be said about grief, and today I would like to offer a time to feel what can be experienced around grief in a very, 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 very small way. So, because we have such a limited time together, the encouragement is to go small. Maybe just find something in your life, an issue in your life that has brought some sort of feeling. You might not know what it is, because I think that to me, as a mental health counselor, I always try to step back from words a little bit, or step back from feelings. Actually, I'm not a sort of counselor who focuses on feelings. I'm more interested in the felt experience, in the direct experience that a person has in their life before they put it to words. So that's what the invitation is today. If this is completely new for you, I get it. And you might want to do something other than what I'm facilitating, and please do that. And I've also given the prompt to work with anything that you would like to work with in terms of creativity, meaning you could be doodling at this moment, you could be sketching, you could be coloring, you could be tapping, you could be tap dancing at this moment. And because we're online, it kind of gives us the permission, or we have a permissiveness to do what is needed for this moment. So I really encourage you to find that practice that suits you in this moment, whatever it might be. If you don't want to be seen on your camera, you want to be off, that's totally great for me. I don't necessarily mind whether you're moving around all the place, and that's not going to be a distraction for me. And if it is a distraction for to see that happening for yourself, then I would encourage you to change your view a little bit. I mean, in terms of like the Zoom view, not the internal view, but your view on the screen, so that you don't see the people moving around if that's a distraction for you. So we really get to play with this space together, and that's what I would like to invoke in our time together. To be honest, I forgot a bell, so I don't really have a bell, which is okay, because the other part to this practice is that this is applied practice. This is applied mindfulness, meaning that it's going to be about finding the awareness and finding the tools and skills that are around you. I mentioned the word nervous systems, plural, because I believe that the nervous system is not only inside us, it's also outside us, the physical body, that it's also an ecosystem. So I like to think of the earth as part of our ecosystem, as our nervous system as well, because we have also a shared reality that many of you probably have already heard before. Again, thank you for this Earth Holder, for this space, and thank you for all of you for being here today and for encouraging this space of touching into the earth of ourselves and the selves of our earth. So we're going to go into practice mode, and for me, there's always a transition. There's always a moment where I might be talking more directly to you and focusing a little bit more externally, but I am going to now invite us to bring our attention a little bit more inward, a little bit more into sensation if you're not on sensation, not feeling into sensation, a little bit more onto noticing what's happening inside you. This, and I say transition because it's an organic practice too, because when we have the practice with our teacher Thich Nhat Hanh, it says to arrive. And when are we arriving? Every moment, every breath, every step, and we are constantly always arriving. So if there's one saying that might be helpful for this time together, it is arrive. Arriving, 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 arriving. And you might know the familiar song, I have arrived. You might want to sing that with me just so you feel the presence of that statement. I have arrived. I have arrived. I have arrived. You might consider, what does it take to arrive in this moment? What does it take? Maybe take a look around your room just for a moment. See if the space you are in helps you to arrive. Maybe there's something in the room that helps you just kind of ground. Like I have a favorite sweater that I'm looking at, and even though it's too hot to wear a sweater, it still brings me a little comfort. I might even bring that element here because it has a texture that helps me to arrive. It helps me to be present. So arriving might be about being present or presencing. It might be the breath. You might notice the breath, the way you breathe. Sometimes if I'm anxious, I focus on the exhale. because I know that if I focus on the exhale and just do the exhale, maybe even with a sigh, sound or unsound, the inhale will take care of itself. So I just focus on the sensation of the exhale. It might be for you, now we're going to maybe pay attention to the eyes, not necessarily about seeing, but as the location of the eye itself. Maybe the eyelids are closed. Maybe the eyelids are open. And what is the position of the eyes? Are the eyes floating in space and looking around in what I might call an infant eye? And when you have an infant eye, usually there's a movement in the cervical spine. So it relates to the position of the head in space. So maybe the movements of the eye come with motions of the head and the cervical spine. Or maybe there's stillness. And when I say stillness, this does not mean rigidity. It's with that same sense of arriving. I have arrived. I am arriving. I am arriving. And if there's a posture that you would like to experiment with, historically the Buddha taught meditation in 4 postures: standing, or some variation of standing; sitting, or some variation of sitting, whether that's on the floor, whether that's on a chair, on a cushion, on a bed of grass, against a wall, lying down in all variations of the side, on the back, on the belly, or propped up with pillows, or on a what I would call the lazy boy recliner. And the 4th is walking. In any variation of walking, it could be a crawl, it could be a stroll, a jaunt, a skip, it could be a run. Maybe you want to put some earbuds on and run outside for your meditation time, and you could do that. You could do that. So the invitation is first to arrive, and the second invitation is to arrive. You might know where this is going. The third invitation is to arrive. So we're arriving and coming back to ourselves to notice what is present, what is enduring in us, and follow the impulse that feels right enough for this moment, towards stillness or movement. Maybe it's a posture or a movement that's familiar, and just bask in what it feels like to be in this familiar feeling. Noticing what is present in terms of what I might call association, a memory, an image, a feeling. And as much as you can, let's put those associations, the memories, the images, the feelings aside for this moment. If you need to jot something down or draw something, you can do that and try to come back to the body or oneself if that feels right for you at this moment. What might it be like to arrive? It may be there if you are inclined toward movement, even walking. Maybe you slow the movement down. And Thich Nhat Hanh used to say that sometimes it's easier to be present when you're slower because you can feel the details. I don't know that he said feel the details, but that's what I'm kind of bringing to this, feeling the details of this moment, the quality of your attention, the quality of the information that is being communicated to you non-verbally, before words. For some, it might take a little bit of sound, a little bit of music, maybe something in the background to help ourselves arrive. And if you've chosen stillness in the posture, maybe there's adjustments that you might need to make to help yourself be more fully there, right there, arrive. Maybe it's a slight adjustment to the neck or the head. Maybe somewhere that you notice might be tensing up. See if there might be some gentle adjustment to how your stillness posture or your posture is in stillness, that there is more life in that way of being still, that way of arriving through stillness. anything that you are doing, whether through moving or being still, is too much, and what you are paying attention feels like it's too much, take a step back from it. Shift your attention a little bit. If your eyes are closed and that's too much, open your eyes gently. Maybe take a look around. Maybe position your eyes so that you feel a little bit more at ease. What will it take in this moment to arrive? Whether moving or still, whether with silence or through sound. Maybe just a few more minutes left of this movement stillness practice. Maybe staying with what you are already doing. Maybe there is something you want to try in order to bring more aliveness, more presence to what you are doing. Whether it's stillness or in moving, sound or silent, eyes open, eyes closed, eyes half open, half closed, infant eye, looking without naming. take? What can I do so that I can feel like I am arriving? Maybe if your attention has moved off of the breath, you bring your attention into the breath, with the breath, and begin to find a transition Sometimes in somatic counseling, we say that the somatic process is a poetic space. A poetic space. So we're moving, well, I mean, there doesn't have to be a, doesn't mean if we come out of the poetic space there's no poetry, but find a way to bring your attention back to the space, back to the room, back to looking into the camera if that's where you want to look. Yeah, I saw some people stretching. Maybe there's a change in posture, change of levels. You might shake some things out if you weren't shaking through the whole endeavor. we we had a couple of kind of medium-sized earthquakes north of us um, just this week, so the earth was shaking. There was things shaking. Maybe the earth was transitioning from meditation into something. But now is the time, if you weren't making note of things, maybe this is a time to take some notes, just to jot down things that you might want to come back to. Actually, usually I facilitate that while we're in a poetic phase, but um, never too late. Never too soon. So feel free to jot or sketch something that you might want to come back to, something that came up, and this could be something that you share in Dharma Sharing as well, or it could be something that on a later time you want to kind of um, sit or move with again. So I noticed there was a moment, there's this gesture that I made in closing. It was just something that intuitively came. I put my left hand on my heart, and my right hand was on my belly, and I used the breath and deep breathing to kind of emerge out of meditation. It was the first time I kind of did that, because usually I use meditation to come into concentration, but there was something interesting about the breath that happened, and I kind of want to experience that again. So that might be something I jot down, or something that I want to share about or find words for. So this could be a good time to find words to something, to put words to an experience, even though it might be sometimes putting words to our experience is kind of living in the past. What happened then, or what happened when I um, raised my hand to my chest. There was something really positive about that experience that I really could pay a lot of attention to raising my hand to my chest. Often when I'm just going to give a little sharing now, and feel free to keep jotting, keep moving, keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to play with this post-it notes. Um, so so this is what I when people come to me in my office at Brian Kimmel Guidance Center, they're like worn out by their jobs. I have doctors and nurses, police officers, prison workers. I have counselors. Lots. I have like probably 25% of my caseload are counselors. So I see a lot of counselors and therapists. We have mental health shortage in the country, so we're actually developing a lot of artificial intelligence to help with the mental health crisis in our country. And I think that will only increase the amount of people who are experiencing crisis, and learning also of our skills of resilience and skills of attending to each other and ourselves when we're experiencing crisis, because we are in a crisis. The earth, we know already, is in a crisis, and this is the crisis time. So a lot of fruitful things can also come from crisis. We listen to the impulses that drive us toward healing, and that's the majority of the work that I do with clients as they come into my office. I also do a lot of relationship counseling, families and couples, and all sorts of relationship orientations. And in some ways, we're learning to have a different perspective or a different relationship with ourselves as we train in mindfulness practice and coming back in arriving. So sometimes the hardest thing is to notice what's happening in ourselves, because we live in a world that detaches us from feeling. We're desensitized to feeling anything. And so some of the work is, okay, in this space, you don't have to be that person. In this space, you don't have to be detached from what you're feeling in order to get your job done, in order to um, be present with your kids. And actually, the first step is to come back, to arrive. And sometimes that's the hardest step, because we're trained to not do that. And I know I'm the third generation who second removed from a generation that were prisoners of war during World War II, civilian prisoners of war. So we could see the steps that we took, what it took for us to arrive into our bodies, into the whatever epigenetic, intergenerational seed watering, in Thich Nhat Hanh's words, seed watering occurred because of that experience and war is ever present in our world as well. So there's a lot that happens in our bodies, a lot that is stored in our memories, genetic memories. And so it takes some encouragement and some skill to be able to be present. And if I could should something, I'm gonna should I'm gonna should this. We probably should not do it quickly because there's a lot of information in our bodies. There's a lot of information outside of our bodies in the ecosystems that we are a part of. So take your time, take your own time to come back to yourself, to arrive. And I really love this practice, the encouragement of Thich Nhat Hanh in the Plum Village tradition, because it's not about being someone else, being somewhere else. It's about being right here, present with what is right now in this moment, and to taking the time to figure out, oh, what does it mean to be present? What is this being present? And that's the chiming. We're, we're moving into Dharma sharing. So I want to thank you for this opportunity to practice with you. It might have been a little strange. It might have been wonderful for you. Whatever it was, thank you for that experience. I call those data points, so I just take that as information. Please do reach out if you ever want to practice together. All my information to get a hold of me and to join my newsletters on briankimmel.com. I am writing a book and I'm publishing a few. Hopefully, it'll be out in January, but I'm just doing the interior proof. It's actually a story of my grandma's healing from war, and I was the editor and a contributor for the third edition. Blue Skies, Troubled Waters is the name of it, so you'll be seeing that coming out soon. I also have a lot of albums that help you practice. Like I have sing-songy albums and I have relaxation albums, so please look for those online, iTunes, everywhere. Those are things that are meant to help you arrive. So, blessed to be here. Thank you so much and enjoy your Dharma sharing. Okay, so welcome back and I hope you enjoyed your Dharma sharing. So I'd like to close now before we do our outros about with a practice I call that is called in the dance circles I'm in. It's called sitting on behalf. So you might want to first arrive. We're always arriving. So be present in yourself. Just for a moment, just take a moment to collect all the experiences that you had in this time together. Maybe there's certain points of the day that are highlights for you so far. Just kind of collecting those moments and finding yourself in this posture. Maybe there's someone or something you would like to sit on behalf of. Maybe it's the earth. Maybe it's some place in the world where you find that needs healing. Maybe it's a place inside yourself that needs healing, or in your relationships, whatever you'd like to sit on behalf of. And we'll just take a moment here, a pause moment. I won't speak for about 30 seconds, sitting on behalf, and feel free to use your movement practice as well. Sitting on behalf. And we'll sing us out with the song to the tune of Amazing Grace. If you know the lyrics, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be happy. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful extending it out toward all beings, all things everywhere, seen and unseen. May all be filled with loving kindness. May all be well. May all be peaceful and at ease. May all be happy.